The man known to history as Ahmad Shah Bahadur ascended the Mughal throne on April 29, 1748, following the death of his father, Emperor Muhammad Shah. Born with the name Mirza Ahmad Shah, he earned the unflattering nickname Shah-e-Bekabar due to his inability to manage the empire's growing challenges. King Ahmad Shah Bahadur was born in 1707 during a time of great change in the Mughal Empire. He was the son of Emperor Bahadur Shah III and Empress Zainab. His early life was filled with luxury and expectation. Growing up in the grand courts of the empire, Ahmad enjoyed the privileges of royalty. He received a fine education. He studied history, literature, and military tactics. These subjects prepared him for the future responsibilities he'd face. The Mughal Empire was facing internal struggles and external threats. Despite this, Ahmad felt a strong sense of duty and loyalty to the empire. Being part of the royal family had its advantages and pressures. High expectations surrounded him. Many saw him as a future leader who could restore the empire's former glory. His early experiences greatly shaped his character. He learned the intricate customs of the court and the art of political maneuvering. Ahmad also built relationships with nobles and officials. These connections would prove important during his reign. As a young man, he became aware of the empire's fragile state. As Ahmad Shah Bahadur neared adulthood, a crucial moment arrived. In 1720, he ascended to the throne following the death of his father, Emperor Bahadur Shah II. At just 17 years old, he entered a world filled with political intrigue and power struggles. The Mughal Empire, once strong and mighty, was beginning to fragment. His rise to power was met with mixed feelings of hope and doubt. Supported by loyal nobles and his father's advisors, Ahmad Shah Bahadur was crowned in a grand ceremony. This event aimed to reinforce his legitimacy as emperor. However, his youth raised concerns among senior officials. Many questioned his ability to govern effectively. Political factions quickly formed, each seeking to gain influence over the new emperor. Ahmad faced immediate challenges. He needed to solidify his authority and navigate the dangerous waters of court politics. Determined to prove himself, Ahmad Shah Bahadur sought to establish a strong presence. He aimed to gain the trust of his subjects and noble allies. In the early days of his reign, he focused on consolidating power. He carefully balanced the interests of various factions while striving to maintain the grandeur of the Mughal Empire. His ascension marked a pivotal turning point in history. It set the stage for future events during his reign and shaped his legacy as a ruler in a time of uncertainty. The political landscape of the Mughal Empire during Ahmad Shah Bahadur's reign was troubled. After the death of his father, Emperor Bahadur Shah I, the empire faced many challenges. Rival factions emerged, all seeking power. Regional leaders known as zamindars grew stronger. This shift weakened the central authority of the empire. Bahadur's rule was marked by rising discontent. The Marathas took advantage of the empire's instability. They launched campaigns to expand their territory, attacking Mughal strongholds. At the same time, the Sikhs and the Jats began to assert their independence. They challenged Mughal control in northern India. These rebellions revealed a growing disconnect between the rulers and their subjects. Internal corruption also plagued the administration. Many officials put personal gain above loyalty to the empire. This led to a decline in effective governance. Ahmad Shah Bahadur struggled to maintain his authority. His reliance on powerful nobles, especially the wazir, made him vulnerable to manipulation. As factions fought for dominance, the Mughal Empire faced a precarious future. Political fragmentation created an environment ripe for conflict. This set the stage for further challenges that threatened the empire's stability. Ahmad Shah Bahadur's marriage to Lal Kunwar was a pivotal moment in his reign. This union aimed to strengthen his position in the fragmented Mughal Empire. Lal Kunwar wasn't only beautiful, but also intelligent. She came from a prominent family, which made their marriage politically significant. Ahmad Shah understood the importance of alliances. He married into established families to unite various factions. Lal Kunwar's family brought valuable connections. This was crucial for Ahmad Shah as he sought to bolster his authority. Their wedding was a grand affair, symbolizing hope amidst the chaos of the Mughal court. As time went on, Lal Kunwar became a trusted partner. She engaged in court affairs and offered wise counsel during difficult times. Ahmad Shah appreciated her insights, which helped him manage the empire's complexities. Their relationship mirrored the shifting dynamics of power, where rivalries and scheming nobles were common. Despite the challenges, Lal Kunwar and Ahmad Shah's bond became a foundation of his reign. Their marriage represented a deep commitment and highlighted the political strategies needed to govern an empire in decline. King Ahmad Shah Bahadur faced many challenges at the Mughal court. He leaned on the wisdom of his mother, Empress Noor Jahan. She was a powerful figure. Her influence shaped his early views on how to govern. Noor Jahan had sharp political instinct. She understood the court's complexities well. This knowledge guided her son during difficult times. Noor Jahan wasn't just a figurehead. She took an active role in state matters. She advised Ahmad Shah on important issues. Her insights into the nobility's needs helped him make wise decisions. This fostered loyalty among his subjects. Her skill in building alliances was crucial. It ensured that Ahmad Shah's reign started with some stability. Under her guidance, the arts and culture flourished in the Mughal court. Noor Jahan's patronage created a lively atmosphere. She inspired Ahmad Shah to value the empire's cultural heritage. He learned the importance of supporting artists and scholars. This nurturing environment helped him grow as a leader. He balanced tradition with innovation. King Ahmad Shah Bahadur began his reign with promise and strong guidance. However, challenges soon arose that weakened his authority. He struggled to control the powerful factions in his court and military. This marked the start of his decline. Rival nobles grew bold, sensing his indecisiveness. They began to challenge his rule. The political landscape became fractured. Effective governance became nearly impossible. Ahmad Shah Bahadur faced internal strife among his generals and advisors. This weakened the central authority of the empire. Instead of uniting his forces, he often chose to appease various factions. He hoped to maintain peace, but this strategy backfired. The nobles saw his reluctance to act as a sign of weakness. As time went on, his reliance on his mother's influence took a toll. Initially, her guidance had helped him, but soon it became clear he lacked the strength to make independent decisions. The court began to view him not as a ruler, but as a puppet under maternal control. Dissatisfaction spread within the empire. As Ahmad Shah Bahadur's power weakened, the Marathas began to rise. This marked a major change in the Indian subcontinent. The Mughal Empire was breaking apart, and the Marathas seized the opportunity. Led by the successors of Shivaji, they used clever military strategies to expand their influence. Their guerrilla tactics were highly effective. The Mughal forces struggled to maintain control amid their own troubles. The Marathas formed a confederacy, uniting regional powers for a common purpose. This unity strengthened their position. They aimed not only to gain land, but also to protect their interests from foreign threats and local rebellions. By the early 18th century, the Marathas had established strongholds in Maharashtra. and parts of northern India. Their rise wasn't just about military might, they also focused on improving administration. They created a system that allowed for better governance and efficient tax collection. This financial stability supported their campaigns and helped them consolidate power. As Ahmad Shah Bahadur faced challenges to his authority, the Marathas took advantage. They engaged in both diplomacy and military action. They formed alliances with local rulers and undermined Mughal influence. This combination of strength and strategy made the Marathas a formidable force. During the reign of Ahmad Shah Bahadur, the Mughal Empire faced serious challenges. Internal struggles broke out, especially among the Jats. This prominent agrarian community in northern India grew increasingly discontented. They were unhappy with oppressive taxation and felt marginalized by Mughal rule. As the Mughal Empire weakened, the Jats saw a chance to assert their independence. They rallied under strong leaders, particularly the notable Churaman. Under his guidance, they launched revolts against Mughal forces. These uprisings disrupted trade routes and aimed to change unfair revenue policies. The Jats sought not only better governance but also a distinct socio-political identity. The rebellion gained strength, showcasing the Jats' military skills. They employed guerrilla tactics to outsmart the larger Mughal armies. Ahmad Shah Bahadur struggled to maintain control in this chaotic period. His forces were often stretched thin and found it hard to suppress the Jat uprisings. Despite the Mughals' efforts to negotiate peace, mistrust lingered. The Jats demanded recognition of their rights and autonomy. The lack of effective governance only intensified their rebellion. The Jat rebellions stirred unrest across the empire. Ahmad Shah Bahadur faced a precarious situation. The Rohillas, fierce Afghan mercenaries, had grown powerful in the Doab region. They threatened Bahadur's authority. The Mughal emperor felt the pressure from both internal strife and external foes. As the Jat revolts destabilized the area, the Rohillas took advantage. They expanded their territory boldly. Bahadur knew he'd to act. He sought peace through negotiation, hoping to find a diplomatic solution. Yet the Rohilla leaders rejected his offers. They saw his attempts at diplomacy as a sign of weakness. Realizing the urgency, Bahadur mobilized his forces. He sought alliances with local rulers who also feared the Rohillas. However, coordinating these alliances proved challenging. His troops were still recovering from past conflicts. They lacked the unity needed to confront the Rohillas effectively. Ahmad Shah Bahadur faced a critical moment in his reign. Negotiations had failed. A decisive battle was necessary. This led to the pivotal Battle of Kunjpura. The young king prepared to confront the Rohilla forces. As dawn broke, tension filled the air. The battlefield near Kunjpura was ready for conflict. Ahmad Shah arranged his troops carefully. He aimed to use the terrain to his advantage. Though his army was smaller, their spirit was strong. They were determined to defend their land. The battle began with a clash of steel and loud cannon fire. Ahmad Shah's forces surged forward. They fought bravely against the Rohillas, who were known for their fierce spirit. The fighting was chaotic. The outcome was uncertain. As the day progressed, Ahmad Shah showcased his tactical skill. He executed flanking maneuvers and coordinated attacks. Slowly, his troops gained the upper hand. The Rohillas' resistance began to weaken. Finally, Ahmad Shah secured a significant victory. The Battle of Kunjpura solidified Ahmad Shah Bahadur's power. It marked a turning point in the struggle for control over the region. His legacy was strengthened on that battlefield, shaping the future of his empire. Cultural patronage thrived under Ahmad Shah Bahadur. He understood that the arts were vital for strengthening his rule. He supported many artistic forms, including poetry, music, and architecture. This not only enriched the cultural landscape, but also reinforced his image as a cultured monarch. His court became a lively center for artists, scholars, and musicians. They flourished under his generous support. One prominent figure of his reign was the famous poet Mirza Rafi Safi. His poetry captured the elegance of Bahadur's court. The king's love for literature helped Persian poetry to blossom, becoming a defining feature of his time. He also promoted classical music. Many talented musicians were invited to perform, adding depth to the cultural fabric of his kingdom. In architecture, Ahmad Shah Bahadur commissioned grand buildings. These structures displayed the intricate work of skilled craftsmen. They featured exquisite carvings and vibrant tiles, symbolizing his dedication to cultural progress. He also encouraged festivals and public celebrations. These events brought together people from diverse backgrounds and fostered a sense of community. Through his cultural patronage, Ahmad Shah Bahadur left a lasting legacy. He ensured that the arts thrived, becoming a key part of the Mughal identity during challenging political times. His support for the arts showcased his vision of a unified and culturally rich empire. As political instability surged within the Mughal Empire, the Maratha forces seized the opportunity to expand their influence in northern India. The Mughal rulers, once mighty, began to lose their grip on power. This shift allowed the Marathas to launch military campaigns, disrupting trade routes and challenging Mughal authority. Under the leadership of Baji Rao the Firm, the Marathas targeted key cities like Delhi and Agra. Their swift raids often caught the Mughal army unprepared. The Maratha cavalry, known for its speed, became a formidable threat. This made it difficult for the Mughal forces to mount an effective response. Discontented local chieftains in northern India found allies in the Marathas. These alliances strengthened the Maratha cause. The support from local leaders was crucial for their campaigns. With each victory, the Marathas expanded their territory, encroaching on lands once firmly under Mughal control. As the Marathas advanced further, the Mughal Empire faced mounting challenges. The once great empire, now fragmented and weakened, struggled to counter the relentless Maratha push. King Ahmad Shah Bahadur's marriage to Queen Shah Jahan Begum was a pivotal moment in the Mughal Empire. Celebrated in 1724, this union forged strong political ties. It linked the royal family to powerful factions, essential for stability during a time of unrest. Queen Shah Jahan Begum wasn't only graceful, but also intelligent. She became a vital partner in navigating the complex politics of the court. Their marriage was more than a romantic bond. It was a strategic alliance. The Queen came from a prominent family, which enhanced Ahmad Shah's legitimacy as emperor. This connection attracted support from influential nobles and regional leaders, crucial for his reign. The marriage symbolized continuity and tradition. This was important as the empire faced both external threats and internal strife. As queen, Shah Jahan Begum actively engaged in court life. She contributed to discussions on governance and policy. Her influence extended beyond traditional roles. She championed social initiatives and cultural patronage. Together, the couple became a symbol of unity within the court. They encouraged collaboration among various factions. Ahmad Shah Bahadur's rule was fortified by this alliance. Their partnership shaped the cultural and political landscape of the Mughal Empire. The Mughal Empire experienced significant changes after Ahmad Shah Bahadur married Queen Shah Jahan Begum. As the new king embraced his role, his vizier, Asad Khan, began to gain substantial influence. Asad Khan was a skilled politician. He adeptly navigated the complexities of court life and earned the king's trust. His power grew alongside the king's ascent. Under Asad Khan's leadership, Ahmad Shah Bahadur aimed to stabilize the empire. Internal strife and rival factions posed challenges. The vizier introduced policies to strengthen the economy and restore order. His efforts won the support of nobles and military leaders. He organized councils to tackle urgent issues, promoting open discussions among the empire's elite. This strategy solidified his position as a vital advisor. Asad Khan's role extended beyond governance. He significantly influenced Ahmad Shah's choices regarding alliances and military tactics. Through careful maneuvering in court intrigues, he ensured that the king appeared in control. However, it was clear that Asad Khan operated as the true power behind the throne. This shift marked a change in the Mughal hierarchy, elevating the vizier's status from a mere advisor to a central figure in governance. Ahmad Shah Bahadur aimed to strengthen his rule. However, the Mughal military was in decline. This weakening left the empire open to foreign invaders. Under his leadership, the military, once strong and formidable, began to fall apart. Internal conflicts and poor leadership plagued the ranks. As the empire grew weak, local rulers started to assert their independence. This further weakened the central authority of the Mughals. The decline of the military wasn't only due to poor discipline. It was also a result of dwindling resources and reduced revenues. Corruption spread among the ranks. Soldiers felt underpaid and unappreciated. These issues tarnished the Mughal military's once feared reputation. They became less capable of defending the empire's borders. As the Mughal forces weakened, foreign invaders took notice. Persian and Afghan armies saw an opportunity. They began to launch incursions and skirmishes along the borders. The lack of a strong response from Mughal leadership only encouraged these attackers. They sensed the empire's vulnerability. With the military in decline and pressure from invaders mounting, the empire faced chaos. Ahmad Shah Bahadur confronted numerous challenges. He struggled with the decay of his forces and the looming threat of invasion. This situation threatened to unravel the grand legacy of the Mughal Empire. Amid the turmoil of a declining military and rising foreign threats, the Battle of Panipat in 1761 became a pivotal moment for the Mughal Empire. This fierce conflict pitted the Maratha Empire against Afghan forces led by the formidable Ahmad Shah Durrani. As tensions grew, both sides understood that this battle could change the power dynamics in the region. The Marathas, emboldened by past victories, aimed to dominate northern India. However, they misjudged the unity and determination of Durrani's forces, which included a coalition of diverse tribes and soldiers. On January 14, 1761, the two armies clashed in a brutal encounter that would prove disastrous for the Marathas. Though the Marathas had more troops, they struggled with logistical issues and internal strife. In contrast, Durrani's forces executed strategic maneuvers with fierce resolve. The battle raged for hours, resulting in heavy casualties on both sides. Ultimately, the Afghan forces claimed victory, delivering a crushing blow to the Marathas. The aftermath of the battle reshaped Indian history. The Marathas faced a significant loss of confidence and territorial dreams, while Ahmad Shah Durrani strengthened his position. The bloodshed at Panipat revealed the frailty of the Mughal Empire and set the stage for future conflicts that would define the subcontinent's destiny. After the fierce Battle of Panipat, the Mughal Empire lay in ruins. Chaos reigned as various factions vied for power. Ahmad Shah Bahadur ascended as the new emperor. He faced daunting challenges. To restore order, he knew he must first win the loyalty of influential nobles and regional governors. Bahadur embarked on diplomatic missions. He reached out to key figures within the empire. He sought alliances with powerful Rajput clans and other regional leaders. In exchange for their support, he offered incentives His goal was to unite the empire and quell the rising dissent among rival factions. To strengthen his position, he appointed trusted allies to high offices. This move aimed to inspire loyalty and bring stability. At the same time, Bahadur understood the need for military strength. He bolstered the Mughal army by recruiting more soldiers. He modernized military tactics and equipment. With a stronger military, he sought to deter uprisings and defend the empire against outside threats. Yet the task of restoring order was far from finished. The empire remained fragmented. Bahadur's efforts to unify the factions would face many tests. Nevertheless, his initial actions laid a foundation for a more structured governance. This set the stage for future endeavors to stabilize the Mughal Empire amid ongoing challenges. As Ahmad Shah Bahadur sought to strengthen his rule, he faced a grave challenge: the loss of control over Delhi, the heart of his empire. The political scene was changing rapidly. Rival factions emerged, each one eager for power and influence. Delhi, once a symbol of Mughal strength, turned into a site of ambition and betrayal. With the weakening of central authority, unrest began to rise. The people of Delhi grew unhappy as taxes increased. These funds were needed for the king's military campaigns and his lavish lifestyle. The citizens, burdened by these demands, started to lose faith in Bahadur's leadership. The streets that once echoed loyalty now rang with discontent. Meanwhile, regional governors and nobles seized their chance. They sought to assert their independence, often conspiring against Bahadur. This further weakened his grasp on power. As he struggled to maintain control, his own court began to shift. Advisors and generals, sensing vulnerability, turned their focus to their own interests. This loss of control in Delhi marked a turning point in Bahadur's reign. The foundations of the Mughal Empire began to show cracks. His failure to regain authority in the capital not only diminished his power, but also set the stage for future conflicts. These challenges would threaten the very existence of the empire he ruled. As Ahmad Shah Bahadur struggled to hold on to Delhi, a powerful enemy rose in the east, Nadir Shah of Persia. Born in 1688, Nadir started his career as a military commander for the Safavid Empire. His ambition and skill quickly set him apart. By the 1730s, he'd united various Persian factions. He aimed to reclaim lands lost to the Ottomans and the Afghans. Nadir Shah's rise began when he defeated the Afghan ruler, Shah Hussein. With this victory, he took control of Afghanistan. His eyes then turned toward India, where the Mughal Empire was weak. In 1739, he marched his forces toward Delhi. His army was well equipped, and his strategies were sharp. He'd a knack for finding and exploiting the weaknesses of his foes. As Nadir approached Delhi, Ahmad Shah Bahadur's power faded. He struggled to manage internal conflicts and external threats. This left the Mughal Empire open to attack. Nadir's forces swept through Punjab, capturing strongholds and spreading fear among Indian rulers. His reputation for ruthlessness spread quickly. Panic gripped the Mughals as they faced this formidable adversary. The Mughal Empire once enjoyed great wealth and flourishing trade. However, the reign of Ahmad Shah Bahadur marked a turning point. During this time, the empire faced many challenges. Political instability, external invasions, and internal conflicts took a toll on trade. The invasion by Nadir Shah was particularly devastating. His forces looted cities and wreaked havoc on local industries. Many regions that were once thriving, centers of commerce, struggled to bounce back. Artisans and laborers lost their livelihoods. Markets that once buzzed with trade grew quiet. Cities that were once alive with activity fell into decline. Under Ahmad Shah Bahadur, the Mughal administration faltered. Ineffectiveness and corruption plagued the government. Officials sought personal gain instead of serving the people. As a result, revenue collection dropped significantly. This corruption weakened the trust of merchants who were vital to the economy. Heavy taxes further discouraged trade, pushing many to evade their financial duties. As trade dwindled, the empire's economic stability crumbled. The once mighty Mughal Empire, a symbol of wealth and commerce, found itself in turmoil. Under Ahmad Shah Bahadur's rule, the shadows of decline grew darker, marking a tumultuous period for trade and the economy. Ahmad Shah Bahadur's reign saw a decline in trade and economy. This decline set the stage for his eventual deposition. Discontent grew among nobles and subjects. Bahadur struggled to address these issues, weakening his authority. The once mighty Mughal Empire began to fracture under economic strain. In 1739, the situation worsened. The Persian ruler Nadir Shah invaded India. Ahmad Shah Bahadur failed to respond effectively. His inability to protect the empire exposed his vulnerabilities. Support for him eroded quickly. Nobles, sensing his weakness, conspired against him. They rallied for power and influence. His court became a place of intrigue, with factions vying for dominance. In 1740, Bahadur's reign ended abruptly. The conspirators, led by his own nobles, deposed him. They took advantage of the chaos and discontent. A coup forced him to abandon his throne. The nobles sought a more capable ruler. They wanted someone who could restore stability and address the empire's dire economic issues. After his deposition, Ahmad Shah Bahadur faced uncertainty. His fall marked a significant turning point in Mughal history. After his abdication, Ahmad Shah Bahadur faced a hard reality. He was no longer a king. Stripped of power, he wandered through the shadows of his former life, struggling with the loss of his authority. At first, Bahadur found solace among loyal supporters. They reminisced about the splendor of his reign. They shared stories of glory, hoping to find comfort in the past. Yet as time passed, nostalgia proved insufficient. The political landscape changed swiftly. Rival factions grew strong, and Bahadur's hopes of reclaiming the throne faded. In this chaotic time, Ahmad Shah Bahadur struggled to adapt. He sought alliances with influential nobles, however many had turned away. The new rulers disregarded him, seeing him as a relic of a vanished age. His financial situation worsened. The royal treasury was seized along with his crown. As Bahadur settled into obscurity, he turned to the arts and literature for comfort. He began to write. Through his words, he expressed his thoughts and emotions. As the years passed, Ahmad Shah Bahadur's health began to fade. Once a mighty ruler, he now lived in the shadow of his former glory. He battled various illnesses that weighed heavily on him. In his solitude, he often reflected on his reign. He thought about the battles fought and the throne he lost. His days were filled with a deep sense of loss and regret. He came to understand the fleeting nature of power. Bahadur's physical condition worsened. He suffered from fever and weakness. A few loyal attendants remained by his side, offering comfort during his last days. Despite his decline, he held on to a sense of dignity. He refused to let despair take over. The vibrant king who once commanded great armies was now a frail figure confined to his chambers. In early 1748, Bahadur breathed his last. Illness had taken its toll. His death marked the end of an era. It closed the chapter on a ruler whose reign faced internal strife and external threats. He passed away quietly, far from the bustling court he once ruled. News of his death spread quickly. It evoked mixed emotions among his former subjects. Some mourned the loss of a king, while others saw it as a turning point for the Mughal Empire. Ahmad Shah Bahadur's life serves as a poignant reminder. It highlights the transient nature of power and the inevitable decline that follows. His legacy endures, reflecting the grandeur and challenges of his time. Ahmad Shah Bahadur ruled during a tumultuous time. His reign faced many challenges, but his cultural contributions were significant. He was a great patron of the arts and architecture. This support left a lasting impact on the cultural landscape of the subcontinent. Under his rule, there was a blending of Persian and Indian styles. This fusion created unique artistic expressions. These influences can still be seen in contemporary art forms across India. Bahadur also nurtured literature. His reign was a golden age for poets and writers. The Urdu language flourished during this time. Its development can be traced back to the vibrant cultural environment he fostered. Today, Urdu poetry and prose remain vital parts of Indian culture. Music also advanced significantly during his rule. Various genres emerged, laying the foundation for modern Indian classical music. His encouragement of musicians created a rich soundscape that's still celebrated today. Architectural innovations transformed cities. Structures built during his reign reflect a blend of different styles. Many of these buildings are now treasured, symbols of India's historical and cultural heritage. Ahmad Shah Bahadur's cultural patronage reminds us of the importance of creativity. His contributions echo through time. They highlight the rich cultural foundation of modern India. His legacy continues to inspire a diverse society that values artistic expression. Ahmad Shah Bahadur's reign provides important lessons on leadership. During tough times, his rule faced internal conflict and external threats. These challenges show how crucial it's for leaders to adapt. They must understand changing political situations and shift their strategies as needed. Bahadur dealt with pressures from various factions in his court. This highlights the need to build strong alliances while managing opposition. He struggled to counter the rising power of the Marathas. This serves as a warning. Leaders must have foresight and intelligence in their decisions. Ignoring rival ambitions can lead to great losses. Bahadur's dependence on his advisors also points to a key lesson. A great leader surrounds themselves with capable individuals. Leadership isn't just about personal strength. It's about empowering others to make meaningful contributions. A united team can better handle crises than a single ruler alone. His difficulties with resource management reveal another truth. Prudent fiscal policies are essential. Good governance requires careful resource allocation, especially in troubled times. Finally, Bahadur's fall from power shows the dangers of complacency. Leaders must stay alert and proactive. Ignoring the needs of their people can spark unrest and rebellion. This is a crucial aspect of a ruler's legacy. Ahmad Shah Bahadur was a Mughal emperor who ruled during a challenging time. He became emperor when he was very young. His reign was marked by struggles against powerful regional leaders. These challenges showed how fragile imperial power could be. Despite these difficulties, Ahmad Shah Bahadur valued culture. He supported artists and scholars, hoping to enrich his empire. However, his efforts were overshadowed by internal conflicts and corruption. This unrest weakened his rule and led to his abdication. Ahmad Shah Bahadur's life is a tale of ambition and struggle. It reminds us that power can be fleeting. Leaders must work hard to maintain unity and control in their realms. His legacy is a testament to the complexity of governance in the Mughal Empire. The man known to history as Alamgir II ascended the Mughal throne on June 3, 1754, under turbulent circumstances. Born as Azizuddin in 1699, he was a grandson of Emperor Bahadur Shah IV. His reign came at a time when the Mughal Empire was in rapid decline and his authority as emperor was largely nominal. The Mughal court was grand, but there was also much fighting for power. Alamgir II was the son of Shah Jahan II. Shah Jahan II wasn't as famous as other rulers, but he was still part of the great Mughal family. As a boy, Alamgir II saw the amazing culture around him. Art, literature, and buildings were beautiful, even though the empire was losing strength. Growing up in the royal court, he learned a lot about power. The royal family had many groups trying to be in charge. People changed their loyalties often like shifting sands. This taught Alamgir II important lessons about leadership and how to govern. As he grew older, he saw the contrast of his background. He'd the history of a great empire, but he also faced its problems. These early experiences prepared him for his future as king. He tried to bring back the glory of the Mughal Empire while dealing with many challenges that lay ahead. Alamgir II grew up in a royal palace. He received a lot of education that helped him become a good ruler. His lessons included traditional Islamic teachings and important skills for running a kingdom. Smart teachers taught him about history, philosophy, and the arts. They played a big part in helping him learn. He studied the Quran and Islamic laws, which made him feel strong in his faith and duties. Alamgir II also read Persian poetry, which helped him appreciate his culture. This love for literature improved his language skills and helped him understand the history of his empire. His education also covered military strategies and how to manage a kingdom. He learned how to handle state matters, make friends with other rulers, and keep peace. His teachers told him that wisdom and fairness were very important for a good leader. These lessons would help him when he became emperor. Alamgir II also spent time with different people at the court. This helped him learn how to communicate and understand others. As he grew older, he became ready to lead. He mixed his knowledge with the expectations of being a Mughal emperor. This strong education prepared him for the challenges he'd face and shaped him into a great ruler during a difficult time. The death of Emperor Aurangzeb in 1707 was very important for the Mughal Empire. He'd ruled for nearly 50 years. When he died at the age of 88, the empire faced a lot of confusion. Aurangzeb passed away in the city of Ahmednagar, where he spent his last years fighting battles and making changes to how things were run. Aurangzeb was known for his strict rules based on Islamic law and heavy taxes. These rules made many people unhappy. Because of this, there was unrest in different parts of the empire. After he died, his children fought for power. His oldest son, Muazzam, became the new emperor and took the name Bahadur Shah Asi. However, it was hard for him to keep control over the large empire. There was no clear plan for who should be in charge, and the fighting among family members made the central government weak. This was the start of the empire's troubles. Aurangzeb had also spent a long time in wars, which drained the empire's money and resources. As a result, new powers like the Marathas and Sikhs began to grow stronger and challenged the Mughal Empire. After Aurangzeb died, the Mughal court became a place of fighting and secrets. Many groups wanted to be in charge. In the middle of this confusion, Alamgir II started to rise to power. He was the son of Shah Alam I and knew how to handle the tricky politics of the court. Alamgir II understood the changes happening around him. This helped him make friends with important nobles and military leaders. As the struggle for power grew stronger, Alamgir II showed he was a great diplomat and strategist. he teamed up with others who wanted the same things he did. This helped him gain support in his fight for the throne. His charm and clear ideas won him respect from many people. The Mughal court was full of plots and schemes, but Alamgir II's influence grew as he skillfully navigated the rivalries. With the help of important allies, he took advantage of the chaos around him. As rival groups weakened, Alamgir II found chances to make his mark. His reputation as a strong leader grew during this time as he balanced the different interests of the court. Alamgir II faced many challenges, but he stayed strong. He learned to adapt to the changing world of the Mughal court. This skill helped him prepare for his rise to power, making him a serious contender in the ongoing fight for control of the empire. In the year 1719, the reign of Emperor Farrukhsiyar began to fall apart. At first, he had the support of important nobles and the strong Sayyid brothers. They helped him become emperor, but soon things changed. Distrust and fighting grew among different groups in the court. The Sayyid brothers who once helped him became unhappy with Farrukhsiyar's choices and loyalty. Farrukhsiyar struggled to keep everyone happy. He tried to remove some nobles who didn't support him, but this only made matters worse. By early 1719, the court was filled with plots and secret plans against him. The atmosphere was tense, and many feared betrayal. The breaking point came when the Sayyid brothers felt they were in danger. They gathered their supporters and moved against Farrukhsiyar. In a quick and fierce action, they captured him. This marked the end of his troubled reign. Farrukhsiyar's fall wasn't just a personal loss, it showed the deep divisions within the Mughal dynasty. After his capture, the once promising emperor was imprisoned. His story serves as a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in the dangerous world of Mughal politics. His downfall opened the door for a series of new rulers, each facing the challenge of keeping the empire stable. Ud-Darajat became the ruler of the Mughal Empire in 1719. His time as emperor was very short, lasting less than a year. Even though his reign was brief, it was an important moment in the empire's history. Rafi was the grandson of the famous emperor Shah Jahan. When he became emperor, there was a lot of fighting and confusion in the court. Many powerful nobles wanted to control the empire for themselves. Rafi was seen more as a puppet than a true ruler. During his time as emperor, Rafi faced many problems. Different groups wanted to be in charge, and this made the central government weak. Rafi struggled to keep order, and many people were unhappy. The nobles weren't satisfied with his rule, and the common people were also restless. Rafi had to depend on important nobles for help, but these nobles often disagreed with each other, and this made it hard for Rafi to be a strong leader. As the fighting continued, Rafi felt more alone. He couldn't govern well, and many people were unhappy with him. In the same year that he became emperor, Rafi was removed from power. His quick downfall showed just how troubled the Mughal Empire was at that time. Ud-Darajat's short reign reminds us of the difficulties the Mughal dynasty faced as it began to decline. In 1719, Alamgir II became the new emperor of the Mughal Empire. Before him, Ud-Darajat ruled for a short time. His rule was full of trouble. Many people wanted power, which caused a lot of fighting and confusion. When Rafi died unexpectedly, the empire was in chaos. Amidst all this, Alamgir II, whose real name was Muhammad Alam, stepped forward. He was a strong candidate for the throne because he was the son of the famous emperor Shah Jahan. Alamgir II had the support of important nobles and military leaders. They believed he could bring order back to the empire. His supporters knew they needed a strong ruler to calm the stormy times. In early 1719, Alamgir II was crowned emperor. This was a big change for the Mughal court. His rise to power was much smoother than the violent battles that had happened before. However, challenges were still ahead. Alamgir II took over an empire that was broken and needed help. As he sat on the throne, many people hoped he'd be a good leader. He needed to unite different groups, restore the Mughal power, and listen to the needs of the people. Alamgir II became the ruler of the Mughal Empire during a tough time. Many people wanted power, and there was a lot of unrest. Alamgir II knew he'd to bring everyone together. He wanted to show that he could be a strong leader. To help the people, he changed the tax system. He wanted to make it easier for farmers. Alamgir II believed that happy farmers would help the empire grow strong. He made sure that tax collection was fair and that there was less cheating. This made the economy better over time. Alamgir II also thought about the army. He knew a strong army was important to keep peace. He worked hard to train his soldiers and give them the supplies they needed. He also wanted to make friends with nearby leaders to stop his empire from breaking apart. Art and culture were very important to Alamgir II too. He loved to support artists and writers. He asked them to create beautiful works that showed the Mughal Empire's history. This made people feel proud and loyal to their leader. As Alamgir II worked to strengthen his rule and bring peace to the Mughal Empire, he faced a tricky problem with the Sayyid brothers. These brothers, Sayyid Hussein Ali and Sayyid Ahmad, were very powerful. They'd helped Alamgir II become emperor, but now their power was a threat to him. At first, the Sayyid brothers acted like good friends. They helped Alamgir II manage the kingdom. But soon it became clear that they wanted more power for themselves. They controlled important jobs and military decisions, which pushed Alamgir II to the side. Whenever the emperor tried to take charge, the brothers pushed back. This led to a tense situation between them. Alamgir II knew he'd to take back control to bring order to his empire. He started making friends with other nobles to help him. But the Sayyid brothers were still very strong. They knew how to use politics to keep their power. The struggle grew worse when Alamgir II tried to take direct command of the army. The Sayyid brothers didn't like this and fought against it. This battle for power caused chaos in the Mughal court as different groups started to form. The Sayyid brothers were important figures in the Mughal court. They supported Emperor Alamgir II at first, but in 1720 their power began to fade. Many people in the court were unhappy with their rule. The brothers, once seen as protectors of the king, faced challenges from other nobles and military leaders. These rivals felt left out and wanted more control. As troubles grew, the Sayyid brothers found it hard to manage the empire. They used force to keep their power, but this made some people turn against them. Whispers of discontent filled the air. Loyal supporters started to doubt the brothers' intentions and actions. This change in loyalty weakened their position. Emperor Alamgir II was stuck in a tough spot. At first, he relied on the Sayyid brothers for help, but soon he saw that they were losing their power. He wanted to be a strong leader, but that clashed with the brothers' need to hold on to control. This created a divide between them. Alamgir II was a Mughal emperor who faced many challenges. One of the biggest challenges was his personal life. His marriages were important for making friends and alliances. Alamgir III married several times. Some of his marriages were for love, while others were for political reasons. One important marriage was to Nawab Shah Jahan Begum. She was the daughter of a powerful noble. This marriage helped Alamgir II connect with important families in the empire. However, it wasn't always easy. Relationships at court could be very complicated. Alamgir II had to be careful to keep his power. Alamgir II also had children from his marriages. Sadly, many of them had a hard time because of the fighting between different groups. His children often found themselves in dangerous situations. Alamgir II wanted his family to be safe and well educated. He cared for them deeply. During the time of Alamgir II, the Mughal Empire faced a lot of problems. Many powerful people wanted to be in charge. The emperor's court was full of secrets and lies. Nobles and military leaders often acted on their own. This made it hard for Alamgir II to keep control. The empire became weak, and people didn't trust each other. Alamgir II was in a tough spot. He needed help from his advisors, but he couldn't be sure if they were really loyal. The Sayyid brothers, who'd helped him at first, started to want more power for themselves. This made it even harder for Alamgir II to rule. Also, the governors in different regions were doing their own thing. They took advantage of the emperor's weakened power. They fought among themselves, which wasted the empire's resources. This made it difficult for Alamgir II to enforce his rules. Many provinces were unhappy, and the once great Mughal army faced many challenges. In this chaotic time, Alamgir II tried to bring things under control, but many people resisted him. The ongoing problems made it hard for him to lead effectively. As different groups fought each other, the unity of the Mughal Empire became weak. This uncertainty not only affected Alamgir II's ability to rule, but also threatened the future of the empire. His legacy was cast in doubt during these troubled times. During his time as emperor, Alamgir II faced a lot of trouble. He knew that marrying the right people was very important. These marriages could help him keep his power and make his rule stronger. Alamgir II chose brides from important families. This way, he earned the support of many nobles. One of his biggest alliances was with the daughter of a strong nobleman named Mirza Muhammad. This marriage made Alamgir X look more powerful. It also made Mirza Muhammad's followers loyal to him. By marrying into well-known families, Alamgir II wanted to create a network of friends that would help him during difficult times. Alamgir II also married a princess from the Rajput tribe. This was a smart move. It helped him connect with other powerful groups in the region. It showed that he respected different cultures and wanted to keep peace. Such alliances were very important because there were many fights and changes in loyalty during that time. Throughout his reign, Alamgir II knew that these marriages weren't just about love. They were important for his political plans. By making these connections, he hoped to protect himself and continue the Mughal legacy. His efforts would change the history of his empire for years to come. Alamgir II wanted to make his rule strong, but the nobles and regional leaders had a lot of power too. During his reign, the Mughal Empire needed these important nobles and governors. They controlled different parts of the land and had their own armies. This made it hard for Alamgir II to always have control. Some of the most powerful nobles were the zamindars and jagirdars. They owned large lands and had many soldiers. Alamgir II needed their loyalty to keep the empire stable. However, these nobles often had their own goals that didn't match with the emperor's plans. Alamgir II tried to make friends by arranging marriages and giving gifts, but sometimes this caused more problems and fights among them. The regional powers, like the Marathas and Sikhs, also changed things for Alamgir II. The Marathas were getting stronger and were a big threat to the Mughal Empire. They used clever tactics to fight, which made Alamgir II spend a lot of his resources to stop them. At the same time, the Sikhs wanted to be more independent, which made it even harder for Alamgir II to keep control. Even though Alamgir II wanted to make the central power stronger, he had to work in a tricky situation with many competing interests. Alamgir II was the emperor of the Mughal Empire, but he faced many problems. The nobles and local leaders were getting stronger. They wanted more power and didn't listen to the emperor. Because of this, the great Mughal Empire started to break apart. The king couldn't control everything, and this made things worse for the economy. As local leaders took charge, they started to collect their own taxes. This meant that the empire's money wasn't coming in as it should. Different regions collected taxes in different ways. This made it hard for the empire to have enough money. Corruption was a big problem too. Local officials often kept money for themselves instead of helping the state. This made people less interested in trading or investing in the empire. Farmers had a tough time because they had to pay high taxes and didn't get enough help. The markets, which used to be busy and full of life, began to struggle. Many people became poor. The Mughal Empire also had trouble keeping a strong army. As the emperor lost power, the soldiers began to trust local leaders more than Alamgir II. These leaders had their own plans, which made it hard for the emperor to bring back peace and order. As the Mughal Empire grew weaker, the Marathas saw a chance to become stronger. They wanted to challenge the power of Emperor Alamgir II. This was an important time in history. The Marathas began to take control of places that had once belonged to the Mughals. Leaders like Shivaji and his followers used clever fighting methods. They often used surprise attacks, which worked well against the Mughal army. During this time, Alamgir II faced many problems from the Marathas. They not only wanted to take back lands, but they also wanted to make the Mughal Empire look weak. The Marathas raided Mughal territories, they disrupted trade and scared the local people. Their quick movements made it hard for Alamgir II's soldiers to defend their lands. The Marathas also made friends with other local rulers. This made things worse for Alamgir II. Many local leaders started to think that the Marathas could be better rulers than the Mughals. In short, the Marathas challenged Alamgir II's rule. This showed how weak the once great Mughal Empire had become. The fight against the Marathas was a crucial moment for the Mughal Empire. It was a time when the empire was close to falling apart. Alamgir II faced many problems from the Marathas. He knew that he had to bring back the Mughal Empire's greatness. He believed that the empire was strong when everyone worked together. So he tried to bring back control over the lands that were lost. To do this, Alamgir II started military campaigns. He wanted to show that the Mughals were powerful again. He focused on important areas that rival groups had taken over. Alamgir II also made alliances with local rulers and important nobles. He wanted to create a team to defend the empire. By working together, he hoped to gain loyalty from different groups. This way, he could stop people from being unhappy with his rule. Besides fighting, Alamgir II cared about culture. He built beautiful buildings that reminded people of the great Mughal architecture from before. He wanted his people to feel proud and united. He also supported traditional arts, literature and music to help bring back the Mughal spirit. Alamgir II worked on making the government better too. He wanted to reduce corruption and improve how things were run. He believed that a fair and efficient government would make people trust him more. Alamgir II's personal life was full of important relationships. These connections helped shape his rule and the Mughal court. When he became emperor, his family ties and political alliances played a big role in his rise to power. He had a close bond with his father, Shah Jahan. This relationship made him feel proud of the Mughal legacy he was part of. However, the expectations from his royal relatives often felt heavy on him. Although Alamgir II was emperor for a short time, he had strong connections with important people in the court. His nobles were very important to him. He needed their support to keep peace and stability in the empire. There was a lot of political rivalry around him, and he tried hard to manage these relationships. He wanted to balance power and keep his advisors loyal. In his personal life, Alamgir II married several times. This was normal for Mughal emperors. Each marriage wasn't just about love, it was also a way to create strong political alliances. His court was filled with courtiers and officials who'd a lot of power in running the empire. All these relationships were very important for his rule and influenced the decisions he made for the future of the empire. Women played an important role in the Mughal court. They influenced both personal and political matters. Their presence went beyond the home. Many women helped make important decisions and shaped events in the empire. Royal women had a lot of power, especially during King Alamgir II's reign. They were involved in diplomacy. They helped make alliances and built relationships with other rulers. Some women, like Empress Nawab Bai, were very smart and skilled at handling court life. Their efforts helped keep peace in the empire and strengthen connections. Women also supported the arts and culture. They helped poets, musicians, and artists. This made Mughal culture richer and showed their importance in the court. By funding art and cultural activities, they left a lasting mark on the empire. In their homes, women managed everything. They looked after finances and educated future leaders. As mothers and teachers, they played a key role in shaping the next generation of rulers and statesmen. When the British came to India, they changed many things. They took over the Mughal Empire, which was once very powerful. The British East India Company grew strong and made the Mughal rulers weaker. They created rules that helped only the British. This took a lot of money from Indian people and messed up their trade. Farmers had a hard time because they had to pay more taxes and their crops weren't doing well. The British also brought their own legal systems and ways of running things. The Mughal rulers had been fair and included many people in their government, but the British made a strict system that took away power from local leaders. This made the Mughal Empire even weaker. The British replaced local customs and traditions with their own, which made people feel divided. Education changed too. The British opened schools that taught in English. This was new for many people. Some liked it, but others felt it was disrespectful to their culture. The Mughal Empire was once very powerful, but as time passed, it began to face many challenges, especially from the British. The Mughal nobles, who used to be very important, started to feel unhappy. They lost their privileges and influence when the British took control of more land in India. This made them frustrated and angry. The nobles had always been respected and held power, but the British changed the rules and ignored local customs. This made the nobles feel betrayed. They thought they were the rightful leaders of the Mughal Empire. The British also made things harder for them financially. They raised taxes and controlled trade, which left many nobles poor. Some nobles tried to work with the British to keep their wealth. Others remained loyal to the Mughal Empire, hoping for its return to greatness. This created a divide among the nobles. Some wanted to change with the times, while others wanted to go back to how things were. As the nobles grew more upset, they started to want change. Their feelings would lead to important events in the future. The Mughal Empire was a grand kingdom, but it faced many problems. While outside forces like the British were pressing in, the princes inside the empire were fighting among themselves. These rivalries made the situation even more complicated. Each prince wanted to be more powerful and gain influence in the royal court. Their struggles for power often made the empire weaker. When Alamgir II became emperor, he found a kingdom full of conflicts. Princes like Mirza Jahan Shah and Mirza Muhammad Azam wanted to grow their lands and win the support of important nobles. They formed alliances with powerful friends to help them in their battles against each other. This created a lot of tension in the court. Alamgir II tried hard to keep peace among the princes. He wanted to bring everyone together, but his efforts often failed. Instead of calming things down, they sometimes made the fighting worse. The prince's ambitions not only threatened Alamgir II's rule, but also hurt the empire. Meanwhile, many nobles in the Mughal court were unhappy. As the princes fought for control, they forgot to think about the needs of the whole empire. This was a big problem because the empire was also facing threats from foreign countries. The fighting among the princes took attention away from these important issues. In the end, these rivalries were both a sign of trouble and a cause of the empire's downfall. When Alamgir II became the emperor, he faced many problems that led to his downfall in 1759. His rule started during a time when the Mughal Empire was divided. Different groups wanted power, and this made it hard for him to be in control. Many nobles were strong and often tried to use their power against him. As time went on, Alamgir II found it hard to keep the loyalty of his military leaders and officials. He tried to make peace with his rivals, but this only made them want more power. The Marathas, a growing force, were another big problem. They expanded their lands and challenged the Mughal Empire. Alamgir II couldn't respond well to these threats, which made people doubt his rule. In 1759, things got worse. A group of nobles who felt scared of Alamgir II's changes and unhappy with his leadership plotted against him. This betrayal led to a coup. Alamgir II ended up alone and in danger. Those who once supported him turned against him, and the political scene changed very quickly. The fall of Alamgir II was a big moment for the Mughal Empire. His reign was full of hope, but also uncertainty. It ended in chaos, showing how weak the empire had become during troubled times. After his fall, the empire weakened even more, leading to more divisions and the rise of regional powers. Alamgir II's story is one of lost dreams and missed chances. After Alamgir II lost his power, he was put in a palace prison by the nobles he'd tried to please. He lost his crown and respect. Once a mighty king with great armies, he now faced a lonely and sad life. In his prison, Alamgir II felt betrayed and hopeless. He thought about the mistakes he made during his rule and how he trusted the wrong people. Even though he was surrounded by beautiful things, he felt very alone. His days turned into nights with only whispers from outside and visits from a few loyal friends. Even in his tough situation, Alamgir II refused to lose all hope. He dreamed of getting his throne back and being a great king again. He held secret meetings with a small group of loyal followers, discussing ways to escape and make new friends. However, the palace walls were strong and kept him trapped. As time passed, Alamgir II's imprisonment showed how tricky politics could be. It reminded everyone how easily power could change and how loyalty could fade. Alamgir II's life ended. Sadly, in 1759, he tried hard to regain his power but faced many challenges. After being overthrown, he was imprisoned by nobles who'd once supported him. The Mughal Empire was filled with secrets and plots. Alamgir II became a pawn in a dangerous game of loyalty and betrayal. In June 1759, the nobles grew unhappy. A leader named Mirza Najaf Khan wanted to take control. The tension grew as Alamgir II tried to negotiate for his freedom, but faced strong resistance. The conspirators decided it was time to end the king's rule for good. On the day he was killed, Alamgir II was taken by surprise. He was brutally murdered in his prison cell. This shocking event saddened many who remembered him as the rightful emperor. His death sent waves through the empire, showing how unstable the Mughal dynasty had become. Alamgir II's passing wasn't just the end of a king, it was a big turning point in Mughal history. After he died, the empire continued to weaken due to fights within and threats from outside. Alamgir II's tragic end reminds us how fragile power can be and the serious results of ambition in a broken empire. Alamgir II's life reflects the tumultuous era of the Mughal Empire, marked by both ambition and tragedy. Despite his early promise and efforts at reform, he ultimately fell victim to the power struggles that defined his reign. His imprisonment and subsequent death in 1759 not only signaled the end of his rule, but also underscored the declining authority of the Mughal dynasty. Alamgir II's story serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of power in an ever-changing political landscape. Shah Jahan III, originally Muhiul Millat, came to power in 1759 as a puppet ruler during the Mughal Empire's waning days. His reign was short-lived and marked by the dominance of powerful nobles like Najib ud-Dawla. Shah Jahan III was born in 1696. This year was important for his future as a ruler. He grew up in the Mughal Empire, a place full of mystery and power. As a prince, he'd many privileges, but he also had to deal with tricky court politics. He lived in a beautiful palace and received a special education. He learned about Persian stories, history, and the art. Many wise teachers helped him understand how to be a good leader. Even though he lived a luxurious life, Shah Jahan III saw the troubles in his kingdom. The Mughal Empire was facing problems, inside and outside its borders. New powers were rising, which made things harder for his family. These experiences shaped how he thought and what he wanted to do as he grew up. As he got older, Shah Jahan III became more interested in politics. He watched the difficulties his ancestors faced. He wanted to learn how to make his family strong and successful. This early knowledge helped him prepare for his future as a ruler, ready to face the challenges ahead. King Shah Jahan III was born into a royal family. His father was Emperor Bahadur Shah I, and his mother was Nawab Sultan Jahan. This made him a part of the famous Mughal dynasty, known for its wealth and beautiful culture. But when he was born, times weren't easy. There was a lot of fighting for power, which affected his time as a king. Shah Jahan III had many brothers and sisters. They all wanted to be the most important. The Mughal court was like a big game of chess, where family ties could break apart because of ambition. His family faced many dangers, both from each other and from outside groups that wanted to take advantage of their problems. This taught Shah Jahan III a lot about how to be a leader. Even with these challenges, he grew up in a world of luxury. He learned about art, literature, and how to be a good warrior. This education prepared him for being a king, but he always felt the pressure from his father's declining power. As he grew up, he saw how tricky court life could be and how easily power could slip away. In the end, Shah Jahan III's royal background gave him both gifts and heavy burdens. This mix of advantages and challenges would shape the choices he made as he ruled during a difficult time for the Mughal Empire. The death of Bahadur Shah Bahadur in 1712 was a big moment for the Mughal Empire. He tried to keep the empire strong during hard times, but when he died, his sons wanted to take his place. This caused a lot of fighting for power. Bahadur Shah I hadn't been well for some time. Even though he wanted things to go smoothly after he was gone, his children quickly started to argue. They didn't have a clear leader, and this made them fight for support from important nobles and military leaders. This struggle showed that many nobles were unhappy and wanted to take advantage of the situation. Things got even worse because the emperor's control was weak. Local governors and rulers began to act on their own. The Mughal Empire, once very powerful in South Asia, started to break apart as the princes fought each other. Bahadur Shah Babur's death showed how fragile imperial power could be. It started a series of conflicts that changed the empire forever. As his sons battled for control, the unity of the empire began to fall apart. This marked the start of a difficult time for the Mughal rule. Farrukhsiyar was the emperor of the Mughal Empire, but his reign was troubled. By 1719, he faced many problems that led to his downfall. He had a hard time dealing with powerful nobles and different groups at the court. These groups wanted more power for themselves. The Sayyid brothers in particular became very strong and started to challenge Farrukhsiyar's rule. As he tried to take back control, Farrukhsiyar made some unpopular choices. He raised taxes which upset many people. He also didn't pay enough attention to the army. Because of this, many areas in the empire began to rebel. People lost faith in him, and some began to plot against him. In 1719, things got really bad for Farrukhsiyar. The Sayyid brothers saw that he was weak. They teamed up with other unhappy nobles and decided to take action. They quickly captured Farrukhsiyar. This event marked the end of his reign. After his capture, he was imprisoned, showing that the power of the emperor was fading. The Sayyid brothers then became the main leaders of the Mughal Empire. After Farrukhsiyar lost power, the Mughal Empire was in trouble. There was a big fight for control. In this confusion, Shah Jahan III became the new emperor in 1719. The Sayyid brothers helped him take the throne. They liked Shah Jahan III because he was from a royal family and seemed easy to control. Shah Jahan III was crowned in a big ceremony. Many people had high hopes for him. They wanted him to bring peace and order back to the empire. But soon he found out that the Sayyid brothers were really in charge. They made the important decisions while he just sat on the throne, looking like a king. This worked for both sides. At first, the Sayyid brothers had power, and Shah Jahan III enjoyed being a king without having to do much work. Even though he'd little power, Shah Jahan III's rule was important. It showed how the Mughal Empire was changing. The emperor's power was getting weaker, and the nobles were getting stronger. The grand court of the Mughal Empire wasn't as united as before. As Shah Jahan III started his reign, the empire was close to falling apart. This would lead to many problems for him in the future. The relationship between Shah Jahan III and the Sayyid brothers would change the history of the empire. While Shah Jahan III was on the throne, two brothers called the Sayyid brothers had a lot of power. They were really in charge, even though Shah Jahan III was supposed to be the ruler. The brothers, named Abdullah and Hussein, helped make important decisions for the Mughal Empire. The Sayyid brothers were very clever. They'd strong connections with the military, which helped them keep control. They worked hard to keep the empire stable, even when there were many challenges. They knew how to handle disagreements and keep different groups in line. Because of them, the Mughal court kept running, but the real power of the emperor started to fade. The brothers understood that it was important for people to like them. They tried to gain support from nobles and military leaders. They also made sure to keep regional governors happy by giving them rewards and arranging marriages. But some courtiers didn't like how much power the brothers had. This caused some jealousy and tension. Even with these problems, the brothers managed to keep everything balanced. They knew that stability was needed after Shah Jahan III became emperor. Their leadership helped the empire seem steady. However, their control also made some people unhappy. This discontent could lead to trouble in the future, as some felt left out of their rule. In 1719, Shah Jahan III faced many challenges. The Sayyid brothers were very powerful and had a lot of control. Shah Jahan III knew he needed to make his rule stronger. To do this, he wanted to show he was in charge and win the support of important people in his empire. He started by making friends with key nobles and military leaders. These people could help him balance the power the Sayyid brothers held. Shah Jahan III appointed loyal supporters to important jobs in his government. By surrounding himself with trusted advisors, he hoped they'd help him and strengthen his power. The king also worked hard to win the loyalty of the army. He understood that having a strong military was very important for keeping control of his lands. Shah Jahan III wanted to bring back the royal power that had faded away. He began to take part in public ceremonies and court events again. This reminded the nobles and the people that he was their emperor. Being seen in public helped him gain respect and loyalty from his subjects. Even though he faced many challenges, including resistance from the Sayyid brothers, Shah Jahan III was determined to consolidate his power. His efforts were an important turning point in his reign. Shah Jahan III was a wise ruler. He knew that strong friendships were very important for his kingdom. To make his reign stable, he decided to form alliances through marriage and diplomacy. He arranged marriages with powerful noble families. These unions weren't just for love, they were smart moves to gain support. By marrying into respected families, Shah Jahan III hoped to earn their loyalty. This support was very important for keeping his power. One of his key alliances was through his marriage to the daughter of a famous noble. This marriage showed everyone that he wanted to be close to the nobility. It helped him gain their backing, which was crucial for his rule. Shah Jahan III also worked hard to make friends with neighboring states. He wanted peace and respect between them. These alliances included promises of help in battles and sharing trade. His efforts showed that he wanted to create a strong network of friends to protect his kingdom. Through these smart marriages and alliances, Shah Jahan III aimed to build a powerful group around him. He wanted to make his kingdom even greater and secure his place in history. As Shah Jahan III's time as king went on, trouble started to grow. Many important nobles were unhappy. They felt left out by the king's decisions. Inside the royal court, different groups fought for power. Each group wanted to take control and make the king weaker. At the same time, the Marathas were attacking more often. This made the empire weaker and used up a lot of its resources. In 1719, things got really bad. Shah Jahan III faced many problems and found it hard to keep control. People were upset, and he couldn't calm them down. His friends and supporters started to doubt him. Even greater dangers were near, as other countries wanted to take advantage of the Mughal Empire's struggles. On February 17, 1719, the situation exploded. Some unhappy nobles, led by the clever Sayyid brothers, decided to act. They took their chance and removed Shah Jahan III from power. They quickly and harshly forced him out. The once respected king was now a prisoner. His power was taken away in a flash. This was a big moment in Mughal history. The removal of Shah Jahan III showed just how serious the problems in the empire were. It also opened the door for more battles for power in the future. The Mughal dynasty, once known for its greatness, now faced a tough future because of fighting inside and threats from outside. When Shah Jahan III was removed from power, his life changed quickly and sadly. He lost his title and was no longer a respected king. The powerful nobles and rivals who caused his downfall celebrated their victory. Meanwhile, Shah Jahan III became a pawn in their game. As he was forced to give up the throne, he realized he could no longer control his fate. He was taken to Agra, a city that used to be full of power and beauty. Now it felt like a prison to him. The journey was filled with fear and uncertainty. Many of his supporters left him, scared of what the new leaders would do. In Agra, the grand palaces felt cold and lonely. The lively court life he once enjoyed was gone. Instead, he faced isolation and the sadness of lost glory. As he started his new life in exile, he often thought about the riches and power he once had. Those dreams of being king again faded away as he saw that the world had changed forever. Shah Jahan III used to live a life full of riches and splendor. He was a king, surrounded by beautiful things and many people. But now, he lived in seclusion, far from all that luxury. He stayed in a small house in Agra, where everything felt quiet and lonely. The grand court life he once knew was just a memory now. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into years. Shah Jahan III's days became very similar. He spent his time thinking about his past and how great it was to be a king. Sometimes a few loyal friends would visit him, but those visits were rare. The titles and treasures he once had felt like a distant dream in this new life. To keep busy, he read many books, he studied about how to rule and learned about philosophy. He hoped that one day he could use this knowledge to become wise again. But the truth was heavy on his heart. The world he'd ruled continued without him. He often heard whispers about his fall from power. This made him feel even more alone. Still, Shah Jahan III held on to a small hope. He dreamed that someday fate might be kind to him again. Maybe he could sit on his throne once more. In the quiet of his small home, he kept that hope alive, like a tiny light in a dark place. He faced life away from power, always remembering the greatness he once had. After many years of living alone, Shah Jahan III faced his last moments in 1748. It was very different from the exciting life he once had. The once great king, who ruled after strong leaders, now lay weak and forgotten in a small room of his palace. His time as king was filled with problems, and he'd lost much of his power. The beauty of the Mughal Empire had faded away, leaving him lonely and without his former glory. As he neared the end, Shah Jahan III thought about his life and what led to his fall. He felt a deep sadness, not just for losing his throne, but for the rich culture and stunning buildings that marked the Mughal times. Those days of greatness felt far away as he waited for what would come next. With only a few loyal servants by his side, he heard the news of his death with quiet acceptance. The talk of his legacy floated around him, mixed with the dust of the past. On the day he died, the palace was very quiet, a fitting end for a life once filled with splendor. Shah Jahan III passed away, leaving behind a mixed legacy that people would remember for its sadness rather than its greatness. His death marked the end of an important time, showing how power was changing in the Mughal Empire during the 18th century. In the years before he passed away, Shah Jahan III found comfort in learning and studying. Even as his kingdom faced many problems, he turned to books. He wanted to understand the world better. He was curious about many subjects, like philosophy, history, and science. This showed how much he cared about knowledge, despite the troubles around him. Shah Jahan III spent time with wise advisors and scholars who loved learning too. They talked about different ideas that made him think and see things in new ways. These discussions helped him forget the stress of being a ruler. He believed that knowledge could help him solve the problems his kingdom faced. His love for learning also made him want to understand how to govern better. Shah Jahan III knew that a smart ruler could make good choices, even when things were tough. He studied past leaders, looking at what they did right and what they did wrong. He wanted to learn from their experiences. Even though his empire was getting weaker, Shah Jahan III kept focusing on learning. It showed how strong he was inside. He found purpose in education, using it to help him through hard times. By learning, he hoped to create a legacy that would last even after his reign was over. Shah Jahan III faced many challenges during his time as king. However, he loved the arts and literature. He knew that they could inspire and lift the spirits of his people. His court became a lively place for creativity. Many talented poets, musicians, and artists came from all over the empire to share their skills. One important thing he did was support famous poets like Mirza Rafi and Mirza Ghalib. These poets wrote beautiful poems that showed the feelings of people during tough times. Shah Jahan III even wrote his own poems about love, nature, and life. The king also loved visual arts. He asked artists to create stunning paintings and beautiful books. These artworks showed the amazing talent of local craftsmen. The bright colors and detailed designs decorated his palace and showed the rich culture of the Mughal Empire. Music was also very important during his reign. Shah Jahan III encouraged performances that mixed old and new styles. He loved music so much that he set up concerts that brought people together. These events made everyone feel happy and connected. Shah Jahan III was a great emperor. During his time, art and literature grew very well. His court became a special place where artists and scholars came from many places. This made the Mughal Empire look important to other countries. Many foreign visitors wanted to connect with such a lively and smart empire. Shah Jahan III knew that having friends was very important. He made alliances with nearby states like Persia and the Deccan Sultanates. He used culture to build respect and friendship. His court held big events that showed off Mughal art and writing. These events amazed foreign ambassadors and helped them see the empire as a strong partner. Trade was also very important during his reign. He wanted good trade deals with European countries and nearby kingdoms. He understood that trade could help friendship between nations. His government worked hard to make agreements that were good for everyone. This created trust and teamwork. Even with problems inside the empire and dangers from outside, Shah Jahan III focused on culture and trade. This helped his rule be strong. His efforts laid the foundation for future friendships, making sure the Mughal Empire stayed important in the world. As Shah Jahan III worked to build culture and trade, the British East India Company became important in India. This company started as a trading group but grew stronger over time. They took advantage of the problems in the Mughal Empire. When the central power weakened, the British saw a chance to grow their influence. The company set up trading posts and made deals that let them work almost freely. They built friendships with local rulers and used their power to gain more advantages. Because of this, the British East India Company began to change local rules and trading practices, often putting their needs first instead of the Mughal courts. Shah Jahan III noticed that the company was becoming more powerful. He tried to keep his empire strong and sought better deals for the Mughal economy. He wanted to protect the old trade routes, but the British were skilled at taking advantage of the divisions within the empire, which made his job harder. The company also had a strong military that helped them protect their interests, making it even tougher for Shah Jahan III. Even with his efforts, the British East India Company kept growing its control. They brought new trading methods and goods, changing local economies and how people lived. As the British East India Company grew stronger, the Mughal Empire faced many problems from within. During the reign of Shah Jahan III, different groups started to fight for power. Many nobles were unhappy because they felt ignored by the emperor. This unhappiness often led to rebellions, which made the empire less stable. Regional leaders began to take control of their own areas. The Marathas became especially powerful. They launched raids and challenged Mughal authority. Their attacks put more pressure on the empire's resources and military. Additionally, the Sikhs and other local groups also wanted their own territories. Adding to the challenges, the political situation became very chaotic. Alliances changed quickly, and betrayals were common. Shah Jahan III had a hard time keeping control. He often used force to stop the fighting. Even though he tried to negotiate and make peace with rival groups, the tensions never fully went away. The constant fighting drained the empire's money, making it hard to deal with outside threats. As rebellions broke out, the Mughal Empire's once great armies were stretched thin. They couldn't respond well to the chaos. This internal fighting not only weakened the empire but also made it easier for outside powers like the British to take advantage. This time of unrest showed how fragile Mughal rule had become and hinted at the troubles that were yet to come. The Mughal Empire was once very powerful, but over time it started to weaken. Many problems happened inside the empire. At the same time, outside forces made things worse. In the 1700s, European countries like Britain and France wanted to control India. They took advantage of the Mughal Empire's troubles. As the Mughal leaders lost power, local rulers called Nawabs became stronger. These Nawabs often acted on their own. Some made deals with the British, while others fought against each other. This made the Mughal Empire weaker and split into smaller parts. The empire also faced money problems. Poor leadership and lost trade. Roots made the treasury shrink. There were famines and natural disasters that hurt the people. Many were unhappy and started to rebel. The Mughal army, which was once strong, couldn't stop these uprisings or fight off foreign invaders. King Shah Jahan III ruled during a tough time for the Mughal Empire. His reign was full of problems, both inside and outside the empire. Even though he couldn't bring the empire back to its great past, he taught important lessons to future kings. Shah Jahan III showed that working together is very important. He tried to keep good relationships with local leaders and powerful nobles. This taught future rulers how to handle tricky political situations. They learned to use diplomacy or talking things out to keep peace and stability. His time as king also showed the need for smart government. He didn't make the needed changes to improve how things were run. This made future rulers realize they'd to focus on making their governments work better. Another key lesson from his reign was the value of supporting culture. Shah Jahan III loved the arts and education. He knew that a rich cultural life could bring people together and make them loyal to the king. Future leaders saw that by investing in culture, they could create pride in their nation. Finally, Shah Jahan III understood the importance of connecting with the people. He tried to listen to his subjects, even when it was hard. This showed future kings that knowing what the people want can help build a stronger empire. When scholars study King Shah Jahan III's reign, they find many different opinions about him. Some historians think he did a good job. They say he tried to make the Mughal Empire strong during a difficult time. His rules helped keep things in order when local leaders wanted more power. He also encouraged art and culture, which made his time exciting and lively. However, other critics believe he'd big problems. They say he couldn't manage the large empire well. They point out that local governors grew more powerful and the central government became weaker. Some believe that he depended too much on his advisors. This made him seem less powerful and led to slow decision-making. This view shows that Shah Jahan III had a tough time with his empire. Scholars also look at the economy during his rule. They say he made some improvements like building roads, but many areas still faced struggles. This shows that it can be hard to judge historical figures. Shah Jahan III's reign has both good and bad sides. Overall, he was a fascinating ruler. In Mughal history, filled with ambition but also faced with limitations. King Shah Jahan III ruled at a time when the Mughal Empire wasn't as strong as it used to be. We can compare his reign to those of his famous predecessors, Shah Jahan III and Aurangzeb. Shah Jahan III is known for building magnificent structures, like the Taj Mahal. He loved art and culture. In contrast, Shah Jahan III had a tough job. He needed to keep peace in an empire that was losing power. His reign wasn't as grand. Instead of building amazing monuments, he focused on keeping things together. Aurangzeb, another well-known ruler, expanded the empire's territory. He followed strict Islamic rules. Some of his policies upset non-Muslim people, causing problems. Shah Jahan III took a different path. He wanted to bring people together. He believed in talking and finding common ground, unlike Aurangzeb, who ruled with an iron fist. During Shah Jahan III's time, the empire became weaker. He didn't lead big military campaigns like his predecessors. Instead, he worked on managing the empire and solving problems. This was a sign of changing times for the Mughal Empire. Although Shah Jahan III may not be as famous as Shah Jahan I or Aurangzeb, his reign was an important time of change in the history of the Mughals. What can we learn about Shah Jahan III? He was the ruler of the Mughal Empire from 1759 to 1806. His time as emperor helps us understand the challenges the empire faced as it started to decline. Historians say that during his reign, the empire had to deal with problems from powerful neighbors and issues within its own borders. It's important to look at the economic conditions that shaped his decisions. Shah Jahan III may not be as famous as some other Mughal emperors, but his rule shows how leaders had to adapt. He worked hard to keep control even as the empire grew weaker. Modern historians believe his challenges show how rulers tried to change their strategies during tough times. His reign also had cultural importance. Even though politics were changing, Shah Jahan III's courts supported the arts. This helped keep Mughal culture alive, showing how kings tried to hold on to their power through culture, even when they were losing political strength. During Shah Jahan III's time as ruler, many important events showed the decline of the Mughal Empire. One big change was the rising power of regional groups, especially the Marathas and the Sikhs. These groups started to take control of their own lands, challenging the Mughal rulers and breaking apart the empire. In 1756, the British East India Company began to grow stronger in India. This led to more tension. The Battle of Plassey in 1757 was a key moment. After this battle, the British gained control of Bengal, which was very important for trade. This defeat showed how weak the Mughal Empire had become and hinted at more losses to come. There was also a lot of fighting among the Mughal nobles. Different groups wanted power, creating chaos in the court. Shah Jahan III found it hard to keep control as these rivalries grew. His ability to govern was slipping away. The empire faced economic problems too. There were famines during this time that caused many people to suffer. These hard times made people less loyal to the Mughal throne. Lastly, new ideas from Europe started to change Indian society. New inventions and ways of thinking began to influence traditional customs. Shah Jahan III's reign, filled with these important events, showed a time of decline and change in the once great Mughal Empire. King Shah Jahan III's reign, though brief, encapsulated the complexities of a declining Mughal Empire. His efforts to promote culture and stabilize his rule faced significant challenges from internal strife and foreign threats. Ultimately, his deposition highlighted the fragile nature of power in a waning dynasty. While he aimed to uphold the legacy of his predecessors, the turbulent circumstances of his time inevitably shaped his legacy, leaving a nuanced mark on Mughal history.